Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. There's the Hazel Johnson mural to environmental justice here. Here's the Prudential 2, the Prudential 1. There's the Aon. This is Lake Street. Michigan Avenue's that way. There's the Pittsfield building. Hey, let's head into the sunshine. I'm putting my gloves on. I thought it was going to be warmer out because the sunshine, but we got wind. So we'll head over to the Maggie Daly ice skating ribbon, and then we'll head in the Millennium Park in the loop. And well, we'll probably get up to Wacker in Michigan, check out the river, and go from there. So hey, thanks for tuning in on YouTube. We'll head over to Millennium Park. Here's that view to the John Hancock up at Streeterville. So we'll walk up to this little shelf. She can go down, go into the pedway. Here we turn on the comments. Hey, Sabrina Suburban Gardens, Julie Reed, Grandma's Corner. Good praxis there. How you doing there? Hey, Aisha, how you doing? Prince. Yeah, thanks for watching on YouTube. Yeah, I streamed on TikTok this morning. I'm experimenting. Believe me, I talked with 2 reps at YouTube last week, and I was just shocked that they told me that I'm posting too much content to YouTube. They pretty much said to stop posting so much content and use a different platform. So that's what I did. I went back to TikTok. And it's really weird when you talk with the company and they're like, please don't use our product. And it's like, okay. You know, I know that's probably what they didn't mean, but they don't care. None of these social medias care 2 shits about any of us. They're just using us. They think that we're like deer. They're just out like milking us, using us for natural resources for their AI plans. Remember when it used to be Google, don't be evil, Google. Now I even think Google's evil. And you know, it was because, you know, they're beholden to their shareholders. I know it's, I don't know of a better system, I guess. Shareholders rule the world. Here's Aon, Standard Oil. But hey, the weather forecast looks pretty nice. Once we get to the weekend, I see 70s in the forecast, and not only 70s for the weekend, 70s for like a whole week, like 60s and 70s in March. We'll see if it holds up. I don't know. Here, Chicago, Illinois, United States of America, planet Earth. We got 12:02 in the PM. Yeah, thanks, Chris and Carla. Grandma's Corner. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Heather B. Yeah, Busy Bees. Look, there's beehives here. Busy Bees. The beehive right here. Here's beehive. So this spring we'll keep an eye on these beehives. Isn't it nice? They got beehives right next to this. Is a beehive for human beings. I don't see any people in here. There's nobody at this plaza. We got it all to ourselves. Here's Ernie's shown these before. I've shown them too. These are the this is a sculpture. These metal rods clink against each other and make noise when the wind, you hear them? Yeah, they're very Buddhist, makes some like little ambient noise. But hey, the Aon building here, this used to be the 2nd tallest building in Chicago. I guess the Trump Tower is now the 2nd, so I guess this is the 3rd tallest. Probably pretty much the same height as the John Hancock and the St. Regis, which is right there. And it used to be the Standard Oil building. Most notable thing about this building, you see how it's all white? The white marble or granite. Well, no, it's not even granite now. It used to have like white marble, but all that it would chip and fall off the building, so they had to replace it all. So it cost more money to replace the exterior material to build the original building, but they did it. So isn't it ironic that it started as Standard Oil and was the Amoco building, and then when they replaced it all, it became insurance. It's probably the insurance company made the most money out of that. Or had to pay out. I don't know if it was insured or not. But here, look at the pigeons. Here's the pigeons all sitting on the grandstands there. They got the grandstands for the pigeons. Going past the reviewing stand of the pigeons here for the Parade of Humans. How you doing, pigeons? Yeah, they're enjoying the sunshine there. Yeah. So here comes a helicopter. We've been seeing helicopters fly all around. And Yeah, time to break out the shorts. You got it. So here we'll cross the wide upper Columbus here. There's the Aqua. Nice view of the Aqua building. Chicago, Illinois, United States of America, planet Earth. Thanks for tuning in YouTube. Yeah, we'll head over to the ice skating ribbon. No, we were doing great on YouTube. We would get 15,000, 30,000 people to watch an hour live stream. It was pushing my content. I did it to myself. I took the trip to New Orleans. It threw out the algorithm, whatever the algorithm is for YouTube. It punished me by going to New Orleans, and I can't get my mojo back. And so we'll go back to TikTok, and that's good. We worked up to 20,000. I'm not. Yeah, of course, I'm streaming right now. We're not leaving YouTube. I need YouTube. I'm very appreciative of YouTube for allowing us to have a platform here and being less militant with the violations. But so yeah, here comes another helicopter. So we're going to get a nice view. The helicopter flying right over us. So here, I think there's a helicopter tour. I think you can rent the tours and they'll fly you over Millennium Park. Some of it's the Coast Guard and some of it's the police. Ernie spotted the police helicopter when we were in Chinatown yesterday, but we went and saw the parade. So you can go right to the live tab on YouTube from yesterday. If you missed the Chinese New Year parade, you get to see the whole rerun. Yeah, I know my stream was cutting in and out. It wasn't just mine. Jose Mojica, he had connectivity issues even on TikTok. I don't know if Ernie was cutting in and out. He probably had a better stream than we did. And but it's still, we saw the end. We saw the speeches and got a little bit of the parade. And we'll post some reruns to YouTube and TikTok. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Yeah, let's check out the Maggie Daily Ice Skating Ribbon. We'll head right down here and yeah, give you some. Yeah, I've seen what's happening around the road. Aisha, you know, again, we're hostages to it in America, just like you. I very much don't want our country to be at war with Iran, especially in the way we're doing it. It's amazing that the Ayatollah Khomeini has been killed by the U.S. military, and the second and third in command, they did the same, you know, when they extradited Maduro. At least they didn't kill him, but the thing is, what comes next? The Middle East is very unstable now. Iran is, here's the helicopter tours. There's the helicopters going through Millennium Park looking at the skyline. Here's the ice skating ribbon. So, you know, I've lived in America my entire life. My father was involved with a stupid American war, the Vietnam War. We've had stupid wars in Iraq and Afghanistan that we finally got out of, and now we're, you know, the president that ran on not getting us involved in stupid American foreign wars has gotten us to another stupid American foreign war. And if you think it's over, you don't just kill the leader of a foreign nation. And even though there's a lot of people in Iran that are very happy that he's gone, and a lot of people outside, are we actually safer? I don't know if we're actually safer or not. We'll find out, because the Iranian Republican Guard still controls the weapons, and they're still pretty angry at America. So, you know, we'll see how this plays out. I don't want to wish misfortune on it. It's very hard for me to talk about on social media platforms, because I know we'll get people that are in support of this war. I'm not in support of, I'm pretty much a pacifist. But I know it's hard to go through a world like this where it's so violent. You can't be a pacifist. You just get taken advantage of. You have to stand up for yourself. You know, it's all people protesting in the United States. I expect there'll be a lot of protests this summer and spring. I know the kid just fell down. So the ice is pretty bumpy. The ice is pretty bumpy. Here's the view to the Sears Tower here. Wes, how you doing? Yeah, Wes. Oh yeah, my dad was drafted in Vietnam in '67. He got out in '71. He missed Woodstock. He was in Thailand. There was a lot of Air Force bases in Thailand. He got drafted in the Army. He ended up in the Air Force. And yeah, they're ice skating there. Yeah, walking on sunshine. I'll have to scrub out this song. So in the rerun, they're playing Walking on Sunshine, but I'll have to scrub it out of the video, so you'll just have to imagine the nice music we got here. I don't want to steal any money from anybody. Hey, there they got the, yeah, look at this. Here's the Maggie Daily ice skating ribbon here, Chicago, Illinois. What a beautiful day. We got about 36 degrees, but it feels like 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 3 or 4 degrees Celsius. There's the Sears Tower, Chicago, Illinois, United States of America Planner. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Yeah, good song, Jessica. Yeah. UAE. Oh, your dad's in the UAE? Oh, I know, because we didn't think the UAE was going to get bombed, and they you know, UAE is trying to stay out of it. It shows you it's impossible to not get involved, and that's why people tell me not to talk about politics. I'm like, good luck with that. You know, what, are you going to let the whole world just burn and crash around you because you don't want to talk about politics? This is exactly the time we need to be talking about politics, and I know no one. It's very frustrating and scary, but we're living through. You know, the world's getting more unstable is all it is, and all the stock market and all the 401k and all the investment people can't do anything to help you from the volatility. I'm just shocked that the oil markets are as stable as they are now, because I guess the Straits of Hormuz have not been closed, and the global market's hoping that this won't last long. But the longer this lasts, it will affect the stock market because it's going to cause inflation. It just will. Oil, a spike in oil prices could cause inflation. And so here, this is the Maggie Daily ice skating ribbon here in Chicago, Illinois. We'll head over towards the Bean here. So hey, we got 1211 here, Chicago, Illinois. Hey, you get your coffee, you go to freewheeling here. Yeah. And Lambie T, how you doing? Yeah, innocent people. That's, you know, that's why we need to hold people responsible. All these leaders that we revere, like Netanyahu's responsible for the death of a lot of children. I know people are very angry. What's the Epstein file? It's horrible what Epstein did, but Netanyahu actually killed children, kills children, and people have died. I guess there's a girls' hospital that was affected, you know, or is that what that was? I mean, you know, it's just, war is madness. The vulnerable women and children, old people get killed. Look at the Ukraine war. They take it to the civilians. You know, it's very, no one wins in war except for the people making money off of war. And there's people making money off of all these wars. Every time you see the bombs exploding over Israel or over Iran or UAE and all the, it's just thousands and millions and billions of taxpayer money wasted. And then they got to replenish the bombs that comes out of our national debt. And a lot of people ends up in their bank accounts making money off of people dying. And same as it ever was. Military industrial complex, it's hard to escape it. Here we are at Maggie Daily Park, Chicago, Illinois, checking out the ice skating. We got March the 2nd, 2026. We got 12:12 in the PM. Beautiful sunshine, 36 degrees Fahrenheit, 2 degrees Celsius. Thanks for tuning in. But, you know, I apologize to you. I did my best to, we had such a good roll here on YouTube, but somehow when I went to New Orleans, the algorithm has decided not to push my live streaming content, so I'm switching back to TikTok, at least in the mornings, just so we can get a TikTok. As much as I complain about TikTok, it is very friendly to live streaming, and I was able to build my audience there. So we'll see how long it goes until. I was amazed I was able to make it through the whole morning there without a violation. So we'll keep giving it a try. Sad world. But here, we'll look at this. We'll head across the. But if you like this, hit the thumbs up. I think the way YouTube works is if we get over 100 likes, it'll start pushing my live stream. But until we do that, it's not going to push it. No one's going to be able to discover my live stream. And I'm back in the same situation I was for a year and a half when we would live stream every lunchtime, and we get like 400 people watching the live stream. And it wasn't until a year ago when I finally started to get some traction on YouTube. But when I went to New Orleans, I somehow ruined it. And I talked to the representatives, and they told me to go back to live streaming to TikTok. So that's what I'm doing. YouTube told me to go back to live streaming on TikTok. Can you believe that? I talked to YouTube, and they're like, well, they said your audience is getting tired of your content. You should try a different line of work. I said, okay, I'll go back to TikTok there, YouTube. You're being evil to me. Evil Google. Sergey Brin counting the money there. Sold the company, now Google's evil. Here's, look. There's the skyline of Chicago. But I'm still doing it for you guys, my nice lunch bunch audience. Thanks for being a cool audience here. My 49 friends here on YouTube, appreciate it. So we'll head back to Michigan Avenue. We're still going to enjoy the sunshine. I do enjoy live streaming on YouTube. I'd rather have a small dedicated audience because I can actually read your comments and we can have a more real experience here instead of stupid comments flying by me answering the same question over and over again. Where is this at? I got to say Chicago 6,000 times every time I stream because people keep thinking it's New York City. And then when I tell them it's Chicago, they're like, they tell me I'm wrong. Because that's the... But hey, can you believe that crane's gone? We saw that crane on Friday at Dearborn and Elm, and they must have just used it for the weekend because they already dismantled it. Glad I was able to film that. That's the South Loop, Orange to Chicago, Loop Skyline. There's the Glacier East Skyline, Chicago, Illinois. Christy, how you doing? Yeah, Kevin Gallagher. I know. My dad was in Thailand. My dad was stationed in Thailand, so he missed the Summer of Love. He missed Woodstock. He missed Altamont. He remembers coming back in the early '70s after Kent State, and he kept smelling all this strange burnt leaves. He goes, "What are all these people smoking?" And everybody started laughing. You know, I can say it because we're on YouTube. Country boys in the '60s didn't smoke. You know, they didn't smoke marijuana in Muskogee there, you know. It's the old country song. I'm an old Okie from Muskogee. We don't take our trips on L.S. deep. You know what I'm talking about. See, Kevin G was fighting the man. Kevin G, I like talking to Kevin Gallagher because Kevin Gallagher knows what it was like to live through the movement in the 60s. Real protests. That's why he realizes we're going through another 1968-like moment, potentially. You know, hopefully it doesn't get that bad. But here, we'll head over to the Bean. And thanks for tuning in. Yeah, the ditchweed. They would smoke the wacky, the stuff that give you a headache. Chew the skull. Dip. I have cousins that would do the dip. Smell like peppermint or spearmint, whatever it was. Peace, Elisa. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah. Makes no sense. Yeah, thanks, Lambie. No, all it is, Lambie, is, okay, so we were getting, you know, YouTube, it's harder to live stream on YouTube. Talk to any live streamer. It's much easier to live stream on TikTok or Twitch or Instagram. You'll get more people. YouTube's set up for people with the nice, you know, like Tom Powell. Tom Powell is a perfect example. And Tom Powell was hugely successful on TikTok, much more than I was. And Tom Powell's really successful on TikTok. I like Tom Powell. And you know, he's got his setup there. So he's got his mic. He's got a strong Wi-Fi connection. Doesn't have to worry about cell towers. He can rely on his home internet to get a constant connection, and he doesn't have to move around. And so, like, just like all the bloggers and live streamers, we're always walking around. So YouTube just doesn't know how to deal with that, and it doesn't. There's not a lot of live streamers on YouTube for that reason. I thought by going there I would have like a niche market that people, but then if I don't get support from YouTube, you know, then I got to play one company off its other, which is what I was doing with TikTok. I was playing TikTok off of YouTube, but TikTok doesn't care. We'll see if YouTube cares. And you know, live streamers were a dime a dozen. There's hundreds of live streamers. There was 50 people live streaming the New Year parade yesterday. I see their content already posted. They already beat me to the reruns. Still working on mine. But here, well, I said to the Bean here, Millennium Park, Chicago, Illinois. But YouTube's good for some things. Like we got a nice hour-long rerun of the Chinese New Year parade. You can watch the whole thing from beginning to end, even though it cuts out and the audio is bad. But you can get the gist of what's going on, and that's why it's good for some things. So we'll figure out a path forward. If you don't see him on YouTube, try TikTok. If you don't see me on TikTok, try YouTube. I only stream on 2 different platforms. You got a 50-50 chance. And thanks for not forgetting about me. So here's the Great Bean of Chicago. He's generally streaming morning when I walk to work before 8 o'clock, noon to 1 here, Chicago Central Time Zone, and after 5 o'clock on our way home. Jim Stafford, Jerry Reed, yeah, Jerry Reed. Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Jerry Reed was in Smoking the Bandit. He was the guy that drove the truck with the Basset Hound. Jerry Reed, he was a huge country music star. He had all kinds of songs. Yeah, the Great Bean of Chicago. We were here this morning. There it is. So they got the ice skating rinks all drained, the official one at Millennium Park. And here's the Great Bean of Chicago, March 2nd, 2026. We got about 36 degrees, a few degrees Celsius. Hey, look at that. There it is. 4.1 earthquake. Where was that at? Somebody had a 4.1 earthquake? Here, let's go knock on the bean here. Let's see if they hear the man in the bean. People always want to know what I look like anyway. Hey, there I am. See, I'm not even wearing a... Hello, man in the bean. Hello. Oh, I heard something. You hear that? He's like, help. He's like, what year is it? He said, I went in here in 2017 and Trump was president. I said, it's 2026. He's still president? How does that happen? There, you hear that train? It's a train whistle going into Millennium Station. It's either the South Shore or the Metro Electric there. Nebraska had an earthquake. Wow, you felt it in Omaha, 4.1. I didn't know that. Hey, pizza. So Nebraska has a few fault lines 20 years ago. Huh, that's interesting. I didn't know they had the earthquake in Nebraska, 4.1. Yeah, you can probably feel that. I believe you. So, hey, rumors of wars, earthquakes, what's new? I'm looking forward to Saturday because we're going to have the Shiditarod. What's the Shiditarod? If you've watched my channel for any time, you probably remember that once a year in spring, we follow the hipsters there in West Town. They race shopping carts around for charity, and they all dress up like themes, and it's all to raise money for local food banks. But it's just an excuse. People have been pent up all winter, and if we got 60 to 70 degrees, even if it's raining, it'll be warmer than most years. People will be wild. So we'll film that on Saturday. It starts at 12:30 on Saturday. Of course, yesterday we did the polar plunge at North Avenue Beach, and we did the Lunar New Year parade. I think there's going to be a lunar eclipse tonight. Has anybody heard anything? There's a lunar eclipse that might be visible when we walk home from work. If that's the case, I'll walk home along the lake. I know last year and years past we were able to get that blood moon rising over the super moon rising over the horizon of Lake Michigan. So there might be a chance to see a lunar eclipse blood moon tonight. If you're Midwest, West, heading to the Pacific, Hawaii, you'll be able to see it. I think that's where it's going. There's a lunar eclipse chance tonight here, March the 2nd. Or is it March the 3rd? It's March the 2nd or March the 3rd. But, yeah, I hear you, very lucky guy. Very lucky guy. Why is the stock market not selling off? I just can't believe that, you know, like volatility. There's no volatility left in the market. Like the last time we had volatility was when the stupid tariffs happened. There's not been volatility since, even though everything else is the price of oil is volatile. Nobody sells. Nobody ever sells their stocks. And one day everybody's going to sell at once. And if you don't sell If you catch that last price, you're gonna be in trouble. We're building up to like a 1987 crash. Who remembers the 1987 stock market crash? By the end of the year, it was all back. That's what people are used to. Buy every dip. That was a good dip to buy, but who didn't look like it at the time. So here we're at Millennium Park. Here, I'll show you a map of Millennium Park, Chicago, Illinois, United States of America. So you see there's parking garages underneath all this. So this is where we were at. So we went to the Maggie Daly ice skating ribbon up here. This is Randolph. This is Michigan Avenue. We're right here. We started here. We walked across the BP Bridge. We went around the Great Lawn. That's the J. Pritzker Pavilion, Frank Gehry. We went to the Bean. There's Cloud Gate Bean. There's where the ice skating rink. We're here. We're going to walk up this way. See, there's parking garages underneath here, and that's where you can go in the middle of Michigan Avenue and connect to a parking garage. So here, there's Smurfit Stone Building, Randolph, Michigan, Chicago, Illinois. 36 degrees. We'll just head up to the river here and tune in. Maybe. Geology. Humboldt Fault Zone. Nemaha Ridge, Crooked Creek Fault. I like those names. That's good. Okay, thanks, Lambie T. So yeah, I'm one day off. So the lunar eclipse is tomorrow, March the 3rd. Thanks for looking it up, Lambie. I appreciate the help there. I see more brains are better than one. So here's the great view. You get to the Wrigley Building. We're heading up Michigan Avenue. It's good to see crowds of people. The weather brings out people here, so even though it's cold, we got sunshine here. It's not too bad. It almost feels like 40 degrees in the sun. And see, we got the rainbow cone, Auntie Cinnabon here, and Michigan Avenue. We're head up to Lake Street, right up to the river. There, Garrett's Popcorn. Yeah, I hear you, very lucky guy. Yeah, I want you to be able to retire soon. I don't want people to lose money. I just want people to be able to preserve their money. And, you know, I always question, you know, it's very hard for me. I deal with these conundrums all the time. And I know everybody, you find ways around it. I have trouble investing in companies like X. I have you know, like I don't believe in the companies. Like I'm against AI. Why do I, you know, some of the most profitable companies, for philosophically, I don't want to invest in, but those are the smartest ones to invest in because that's what everybody else is investing. Like Tesla, you know, I don't want to invest in Tesla. I want to invest in something else. But you know, it's the way the world is, and so you almost have no other option but invest in things that are contributing to the problems. You know, here's I'm thinking about it too much, but I want you to be able to retire, very lucky guy, and everybody else. I'm the only person that wants the stock market to go down because I know how to profit off the volatility, but not everybody wants to do it. It's very risky. It's very risky. It's a very hard strategy. And of course, I'm not a millionaire yet, so far the strategy isn't working out. But we'll keep trying. But see, we're in front of, here, this is Michigan Plaza. Used to be known as the Illinois Center. You connect to the Pedway here. Yeah, we got the trumpet guys up here, so I'll take my gloves off. It's getting warm. Yeah, our friend the trumpeter's up here. Kegs and eggs. Hey, we're starting the St. Patrick's Day festivities are going to be coming up. Kegs and eggs, March 14th, 8 a.m. They'll start serving kegs and eggs at 8 a.m. for the dyeing of the river green. It starts at 10 a.m. Not this weekend, next weekend, Chicago, Illinois. Hey, the Wrigley Building, Michigan Avenue. We just crossed Water Street. That trumpeter is always there. And here's the old Republic Building. Yeah, 307. Sounds good. Hey, Dolores. Yeah, hit the thumbs up there. Thanks, Grandma's Corner. Putting the gloves on. Yeah, I know. It looks warmer than it is. I put my gloves on, but I took them off because I'm walking enough to get my blood pumping here. So we'll head up to the Chicago River. See if we see any boats going by. We'll do around the Riverwalk a little bit here. There's the Mather Tower. Right on time. I'd like to order note number 1. So here, the 333 North Michigan Halliburton route, 1928. They got a beautiful lobby here. Blackhawk store, Fannie Mae. There you can go down to Lower Michigan. We're going to cross whichever way the light goes here. There's the Trump Tower, second tallest building in Chicago. Wrigley Building, Michigan Avenue. There, we'll cross over this way. There's the Wrigley the Tribune. John Hancock, North Michigan Avenue, Magnificent Mile. We walked down there this morning. Hey, a beautiful day, nice sunshine. Here's the London Guarantee building. It looks really nice from this perspective. That little curve. And this is the historic location of Fort Dearborn. See the London Guarantee accident building here, 360 North Michigan. Here stood old Fort Dearborn, 1803, 1812. The Potawatomi destroyed that. They were allied with the British during the War of 1812. William Wells lost his life in that battle. He was allied with the Miami Indians. Miami at that time were, for various reasons, siding with the Americans. It showed you the geopolitical shifts. At that time, there's Wacker Drive. Here's the bus turn here off of Michigan Avenue. Hey, they're getting a photo there. That's great. Yeah. There we go. Look at the sun. Hey, we got water taxis are back. Sauble, Michigan Avenue Bridge. Look at the Wrigley and the Tribune, the Intercontinental Hotel there behind there. Yeah, let's head down to the Riverwalk. See what's shaking. So you can see Lower Wacker. Chicago Riverwalk, Chicago River, 36 degrees, 2 degrees Celsius temperature. Blue skies. Nothing but blue skies do I see. Nice murals down here. Yeah, hopefully they'll open this marketplace up pretty soon. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that nice warmer weather. Going to really tease us. Yeah, doing well. So we'll go check out the construction progress of the State Street Bridge. We might head back into the loop. We got 1232. But yeah, we'll see how this war goes. I mean, it's easy to get in the war, it's hard to get out. You know, without troops on the ground, it's hard to do regime change. They're hoping they can do it the cheap and easy way, which is by removing the leadership and hoping the Iranian people. But, you know, what have we learned from the, you know, Iranian or the Irish Civil War, the American Civil War? A lot of times these things divulge into civil wars because there's still the Iranian National Guard has the weapons. Even if the people want a new government, a pro-Western government or a different government than the mullahs, they're not going to give it up without a fight because they've been dominating cruelly and killing their own people to maintain power for decades. And here it's a very complex situation in the Middle East. And I don't know why anybody would want to stir up that hornet's nest, and we just did it. So that's on the current president's head. He has to live with that. And we're all going to pay a price for it, I fear. Here's that's my opinion. You could have a different opinion. Here's the Jewelers Building. There's the Jewelers Building in Chicago. We're heading under the Wabash Avenue Bridge here, Chicago, Illinois, United States, America, planet Earth. We'll head over towards State Street. Gene, how you doing? See, and this is part of the reason I gotta go to TikTok. I gotta have a critical mass of people in the chat. YouTube's punishing me. We only got 68 people in the chat, which is great, but it's not enough for me to interact with the comments. I need about 200 to 400 is perfect. We got 200, and we were getting 200 to 400 before I went to New Orleans. I take personal responsibility because I took that trip to New Orleans with Chris and live stream on YouTube. I messed up the algorithm. It got confused because it was looking for me in Chicago, and it just didn't push the New Orleans content, or people weren't interested. Or since it was after Mardi Gras, there was so much other New Orleans content that it didn't work with the algorithm. And I'm tired of being told what to do by the algorithm. That's not freedom. Being a servant to an algorithm is not freedom. It's not creativity. You're servant to corporate masters that want to sell advertising, and they tailor all the algorithms just to sell advertising. If I would change this into a political channel, I could double my size, and now I just don't want to deal with all the hate mail. And I get hate mail as it is. Here's Chicago Riverwalk. There's the Marina Towers. Hey, we'll keep on going. It's a show that never ends. Every once in a while we catch something that's newsworthy to post. We'll head over to the other side of State Street. Hey, the pigeons. There's that nice view. Yeah, the Mather Tower and the Wrigley Building. Here's underneath State Street. By the Marina Towers here. Yeah, lower whacker. You got it. You got to bribe the algorithm. Yeah. Every time I post a TikTok, it's like, you could pay us $20 and we'll actually give you some views. I'm like, thanks a lot. But hey, that yacht is new. There's a new yacht that's where they park the hot tub boats. We saw the hot tub boats out in mass, but I don't know. Usually once you get to St. Patrick's Day, they'll change it around. Yeah, very lucky guy. I still got reruns to post from New Orleans. You can still go to the live tab on YouTube. I posted the Cypress Swamps. I still got more that Cajun housing that we went by near Lake Pontchartrain from the Amtrak. I want to post some of that. I'll get to it. Still got to do the Chinese New Year reruns. But hey, the corn cob billies is corn, big lump with knobs. We got the juice. Can't imagine a more beautiful thing. Yeah, we'll head to LaSalle, then we'll get that nice view looking down LaSalle. We'll get the train going through, and then we'll just head back through the loop. We'll check out the construction progress on the State and Lake Station. See, it's all these construction projects that we're keeping tabs on. Yeah, the river will be green, so it's not this weekend, next weekend. So start the countdown. I think it's March the 14th, Saturday. Is that correct? Next Saturday is March the 7th. That's the Shiditarod. That's where they race around the shopping carts in the West Loop. March the 14th will be the downtown, right here at 10 a.m. They usually do dye the river green here. It stays green for several days. And then on Sunday, the 15th, March the 15th, before St. Patrick's Day, which I think is later in March, they do the Southside Irish Parade, which is in Beverly on Western Avenue by like 111th Street, for several blocks in both directions there. In Beverly, south side of Chicago, Southside Irish Parade. So, I'm sure there'll be people covering it besides me, both those parades. I usually lose my connection anyway, no matter what I do. So, okay, I know Nick Coy can film the Waymos, and there's a lot of stories about Waymos arriving to Chicago. The funny thing is, and I saw the nice woman, the weather woman from, the traffic woman from one of the local news stations there, Kai Martin. She posted a video. She goes, well, Waymos are not licensed to take passengers in Illinois or Chicago. So what Waymo's doing is they're going to test out the Waymo self-driving cars to collect data collect data, I guess, on all of us and our driving habits. So you'll probably see Waymos driving around Chicago, but they won't have any passengers because they're not licensed to carry passengers yet in the state of Illinois. Only certain states, that's why you see them in Texas and Arizona and Nevada and California, I guess, are the only places that they're licensed to take passengers. You know, Illinois find a way to tax them. That's what you're waiting for. So here, let's head up to LaSalle Street. Let's go back through the loop of Chicago. We got 20 minutes left here. We'll check out the construction progress on the new Google Thompson Center, LaSalle Street. But hey, here's the Chicago River. So we saw the Maggie Daly ice skating ribbon. We saw the bean. We saw the Riverwalk. Let's head up LaSalle Street, or down LaSalle Street. See that nice view to the Board of Trade, and then we'll head through the loop. So I gotta go one more block here. Actually, we're only at Clark Street. I thought we were at LaSalle. Hey, he's fishing. See the people fishing on the river. How you doing? This is Clark Street, yeah. Oh yeah, California taxes the crap out of them too, yeah. A lot of high taxes in California, we know this. So Fight Club, Soul Cycle, that says 32 degrees. That clock says 32 degrees, so I guess it's 32 degrees in the shade. It's only 36 degrees in the sun. Yeah, you still need your gloves. Here comes a boat. There's a shoreline. People are taking an architectural tour on March the 2nd, 2026. Look at that. 36 degrees and people are taking an architectural tour. At least there's no snow. We'll take it. So here, yeah, this is the seating wall here between LaSalle and Clark Street, Chicago Riverwalk. Doesn't that look nice with the clock tower there, the Botanica building? Yeah, this is where the Eastland disaster happened. They usually tell you all about it when you're on the boat there. It makes you feel like you're gonna sink. More people, almost as many people died in the Eastland disaster as the Titanic. They were only like 3 years apart too. Here we'll cross 32 degrees. We'll head down LaSalle Street. And we'll get this nice view of the Board of Trade. There, Wacker Drive. Just looking towards the lake. This is LaSalle Street. See, there's the Board of Trade. Let's see if we get the train. There's the time and temp there, 12:42, 31. It went down. It was at 32. Now it's 31. It's still dropping. There's the train. There's the green line. That's what we want. So just like Road to Perdition, there's the green line heading across South Street with the Board of Trade in the back. Look at that. Scenes of the city. Yeah, 37. So that, yeah, I thought, yeah, that thermometer's wrong. It's in the shadows there, that's why. Oh, the train stopped. Free event tickets. Vet ticks. First ticks. Veterans, active military, first responder. You get some free tickets there. You deserve it. That's good. Especially now. So, here's the Green Line, Lake Street, and LaSalle. Loop of Chicago. We're going to head around the Thompson Center here. Yeah, ice. So, Summer, do you like ice or are you against ice? I'm trying to figure out if you're a pro-ice statement or anti-ice statement. I appreciate your tuning in here. And you don't have to divulge it. Just if you're going to bring up ice, please let us know what side you're on, or just keep us guessing because we can't tell. You just want to talk about it. Maybe you're an AI robot here. That's fine. So here's underneath LaSalle Street, Chicago, Illinois. No, this is LaSalle and Lake Street. This is Lake Street looking west under the elevated CTA tracks here. So here's this nice view. You get to the Board of Trade from LaSalle Street. It's looking straight down LaSalle. There's this Planet Median. So here comes the train. Well, see the green line's there. See, this is LaSalle Street. That's the new Thompson Center here. Then we back up a little bit. I think the train must have went down well, so it made a turn there is what happened. We're just hearing it. So here's, they got the curtain wall, all the glass curtain wall there's on the Thompson Center, the old state of Illinois building. That's going to be the Google Alphabet corporate headquarters. Just in time for them to lay off all their staff because AI. Oh, that's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke, Google. I'm just joking. I know you're listening. Yeah, I love Google. Google's great. Yeah, dandelions. We saw some buds on the trees. We saw some spring blooms too early. It's only March the 2nd. Hey, what's this? Freeform. So hey, LaSalle Street, Chicago, Illinois. Look down to the Board of Trade. If we spin around here, hey, there's the train. There's the train heading across. Green line heading the other way. So let's see if we can get across the street here before this road changes. Yeah, we're going. So LaSalle Street. Yeah, they're converting a lot of these buildings to housing, like the field building. See if they add that grocery store down there. So hey, we'll cross. This is Washington. This is the Cadillac Palace Theater. LaSalle and Randolph. We got 1245. There, look at that. There's the new Google Prime Capri interest. It's City Hall. Yeah, beautiful day. Yeah, it's Google. Yeah, I'm in the Gold Coast every like 5 times a week. I think you're being sarcastic. Yeah, I go to the Gold Coast. We were there this morning. I walk through there on my way to work. Usually, I live in Lincoln Park. I usually daily walk in the morning from Lincoln Park, live stream it to downtown, and then we reverse the whole thing at night. We do go to the south side, the west side. We went to the south side last Thursday. We went to Jesse Jackson's memorial there at 50th and Drexel. Live streamed the whole thing, went further south. And then yesterday we went to Chinatown. There's reruns there, but today we're downtown because I'm working downtown. I have a job, work for an architecture engineering firm, thankfully. And yeah, this is Helman Jan designed this. In the early 80s, they redid it. They took the glass curtain wall. That atrium was always, there's a big atrium there, a food court, connects all these transit lines. And here we'll cross the street here. Yeah, let's see what it looks like here. They're eventually going to do a landscaped plaza. There was a bunch of sculptures here that they removed. Here's the Thompson Center, construction progress, March the 2nd, 2026. We got 1247 in the PM here. Clark and Randolph Street. Katie Chung's the artist that does the artwork for the scaffolding. And there's another person that does the other side. It's Clark Street, looking north, see the construction elevator. I'm keeping tabs on new construction here throughout the city. You got 63 degrees. Hey, yeah. Hey, I would like to order number 1. Thanks for the gift. Thanks for supporting quality content here. I appreciate it. I know you've been with us for a long time. Thanks for being part of the lunch bunch. Appreciate it. And thanks to everybody else there. Clark and Division. Yeah, that's great. Thanks for tuning in. One wheel, no problems. Yeah, appreciate it. So we're on YouTube. I am going back to doing TikTok in the mornings. I don't expect people to watch on TikTok, but we'll still do at least our daily live stream at lunchtime. Thanks for checking it out. I talked to YouTube. They said, I'm posting too much content. They said, post less content on our platform. I said, okay. So I went back to TikTok. Hopefully the algorithm's listening. You know, they'll be like, never have I heard a platform say, please don't use our platform, use our competitor. That's essentially what they told me. And maybe I misunderstood them. So here's yeah, Dearborn Street. You got the bike lanes that go through here, 2-way bike lanes, traffic signals, one way this way. This used to be that weird McDonald's, but now it's just one of the oldest buildings left in the loop right here. Here, rally for democracy. January, that already happened. Okay. So I guess the next big event, there's going to be a No Kings demonstration at the end of March. So we'll find out more about that. We got St. Patrick's Day and the Iditarod before that. Hey, there's Benny the Bull. Go to Garrett's for world famous mix. There's Benny the Bull with his Garrett's popcorn. Yeah, corporate sponsor. Hey, where the world comes to play. Yeah, good luck with that. I don't think anybody. You want to take a trip to Dubai or Kuwait right now? Here's a shopping cart. Hey, there's a shopping cart right in the bike lane in front of the Oriental. It used to be the Oriental. Now it's called the Nederlander Theater. And before that, it was called the Iroquois Theater. But here it is. The Wiz. You can watch The Wiz here. Oh, let's get behind here. Almost ran into that pole. Yeah, the Nederlander Theater here. Playing The Wiz. Go across State Street. So let's check out the construction progress of the State and Lake. Here's the Marshall Field, or it used to be Marshall Fields, now it's Macy's. Carson Prairie Scott. It's further down that way. Look at the. Yeah, they've been working on State Street. So State Street's all tore up. So we'll go under the Gene Siskel Film Center here, State, north of Randolph. Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen's going to come to the Chicago Theater. Let's see who's on the marquee. Hey, they're digging up the street here. So live construction. Hamilton's coming back March the 4th. CBIC Theater. So here's some construction here on State Street, Chicago, Illinois. They're digging up the street in Chicago Theater. Coming out of the Red Line subway here, Gene Siskel Film Center. Hey, there's see how the pink line. So this used to be the State and Lake. You see how there's no platform there. The State and Lake station is totally removed here. Chicago, Illinois. We got March the 2nd, 2026. This is going to be under construction for the next 3 years. See, we're right by Chicago Theater. They got the State Street in front of the Chicago Theater all tore up. But Anderson Cooper and Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen are going to be there later this month. We got Lucy, Darling, Max, Amity coming up there. Here's the Channel 7 News. Construction happened. Here, let's check out this missing station. Yeah, see, after 5. Yeah, it's pretty much gone. Look at it. The platforms are gone. The shelter. The stairs are there's just a little bit of the stairs. Let's film the look. This looks so naked here to see. And I've been on the train. You go right through there. We'll have to give you an update because we went right through there. See, station closed for reconstruction. State and Lake, they crossed it off. So look at this stairway. This used to be the stairway that went to the State and Lake station. And it just ends there, and that used to be where the platform is. This is State and Lake Station, Chicago, Illinois. We're right there. Yeah, the Chicago Theater's over there. The platform's gone. And they've got construction on State Street. They got construction on Lake Street. They got construction on the elevated CTA train. And the trains don't stop here. See, this same thing. Remember walking up those stairs? Look at that. They don't go anywhere now. Redoing the State and Lake Station. We'll cut this out. Look at these big cranes here. Got some heavy equipment. So we'll be able to, next 3 years, we'll film the construction progress. See when this thing starts to come through here. Here comes the train coming straight through here. So you see how the purple line's just going to head, no, it's a brown line. The brown line's just going to head straight through here and not stop here. There's no station to stop at. It's the State and Lake Station on Lake Street. Hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching the lunchtime walk here. I'm going to head back. I still got a few more minutes. I like 5 more minutes here, but we'll get over to Michigan Avenue. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that warmer weather. Harold Washington College. Yeah, we went down to 47th and MLK. We saw the Harold Washington Community Center. There's a statue to him. We filmed that. I posted that. It's on YouTube. Might transfer over to TikTok. Here's the curve on the loop at Wabash and Lake Street. Get the train going through Elephant Castle. There it is. There's the train right there. That's the orange line heading to Midway. That's the orange line. See the workers are up there. They're working on the State and Lake Station. They got people signaling there. Hey, scenes of the city. You got endangered whooping cranes? Hey, look over the Shameless. Yeah. Sand Hill cranes between Grand Island and Lexington. Over 100,000. Wow, yeah, look for the cranes. Migratory birds are moving around. Yeah, if you watched that rerun from Lunar New Year in Chinatown yesterday, the officials, they said the police estimated 180,000 people attended the Lunar New Year parade in Chicago. That's pretty good. That many people came out, even though there's fears of terrorism and stuff because of this stupid war. There was a nice police presence there too. Pigeons, yeah. Okay, so I'll send a message. Yeah. Here's the truth. I think I've so damaged my YouTube account that it's going to be hard for me to live stream my YouTube account until we can consistently get above 100 likes. And see, this is what YouTube did to me. Because I went to New Orleans, it's not pushing my live stream, and so it's really hard for me to get to 100 likes. They know this. And until we get to 100 likes, like, I have to film something that's really controversial or really exciting that people want to tune into, that would naturally, and then we can get, and once I cross that, then we'll jump back into the plateau, and I'll start live streaming on YouTube much more often. But until then, they're not going to push me. I'm being like shadow banned, and it's not really on purpose. It's just the way their algorithm works. It has nothing to do with what I said. It has to do with the amount of people, and what YouTube, and I agree with YouTube. What YouTube said is, because I film the same stuff all the time, people are getting tired of my content. So I have to go back to TikTok where people are looking for me. And so that's why I'm going back. Not because I like TikTok. It's because I want to be relevant, because I have an ego just like everybody else, and I need attention. Here's Michigan Avenue. There's Michigan Avenue looking north. But we'll give it a try. So yeah, it was a large crowd. So Gene Sheridan, do you have TikTok? Gene Sheridan, or are you only on YouTube? And I know I'm not trying to coerce anybody, because if you don't have TikTok, keep it that way. There's no reason to download the app just to watch me. I'll post content to YouTube. I'd rather you watch me on YouTube than TikTok. But if you do have TikTok, you can watch me after 5 o'clock on TikTok, and I'll send a message, because I know it's confusing. I know maybe Grandma's Corner and other people didn't. I didn't send a message this morning. That's my fault. But hey, have a good rest of your day here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to all the mods. And have a good rest of your Monday. We'll see you after 5 p.m. tonight. I'll send a message to whether it's going to be on YouTube or TikTok. You could send me messages. Let me know your preferences. If you're really concerned about missing my lives because I'm on one platform or the other, let me know what you prefer. I'll take that in consideration. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your day from Chicago. 36 degrees here. And we'll see you after 5 o'clock tonight, either on TikTok or YouTube. I'm only on 2 places. It's not that hard. Thanks a lot, everybody. Talk to you later. All right, bye. Thanks a lot.